Okay, I believe everyone joined, so we will start the class. Okay, let me share my screen. So I believe all of you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir, I can see it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so till last class we have discussed about the SAP and different various type of SAP offering, whatever the modules are there in SAP and what is SAP offering and details we have seen it. So from today we will be looking into the SAP business process. So what is a business process? Basically, so how we are going to procure the material. Okay, so basically there are different types of materials are there in the let's say in one let's say business unit. So there might be different scenarios will be there where we need different kind of product. So we need to procure the material, or we need to buy the material, or we need to purchase the material in different process. So in SAP we call it as a business process. Okay, so basically you can see the first one is, let me, okay, so here you can see the first one is procurement of material for stock purpose. So what is that? So basically whenever there is let's say some type of material, like some raw materials are there, some trading materials are there, some daily consumable materials are there. So for these kind of material, we don't want to we will not going into the daily, if there is some requirement we are going to give a purchase order, we will not do like that. We will be procuring those material and storing in the store. Okay, whatever storage location will be there, we will be storing it over there, right? And whenever we need the product, directly we can issue from the storage location. Okay, so basically raw material kind of thing, whatever things are there, normally raw material thing and trading materials, those kind of things we only procure for the stock purpose. Means directly we don't consume from it, but we will procure whenever there is a, let's say there will be some limit to it, let's say 1,000 quantity or 2,000 quantity, there will be some safety stock or there will be some stock limit will be there. When the stock will hit below the safety limit or below the limit, let's say below 1,000 or around 1,000, when it will come around 1,000, so then one purchase requisition will be generated, like we are having less stocks, so we need stocks to like maintain our regular activity. So again then one purchase requisition will be created and purchase order will be created. Okay, so this is the first process. Second one is procurement of material for direct consumption. So basically there is be like in some business scenario, there will be some small kind of things like let's say you need some uh, like you need some globes, like you need some let's say mask, or like you need some office stationery materials, like say you need some pen, you need some notebook, you need some register, any kind of things you need. So those are directly, it is, they are consumable items, right? Directly you can consume that. You are not going to store that anywhere. Directly you can procure it and you can send it to the department. Um, let's say you will not store in the storage location any pen and paper, all kind of things that you will not store in the storage location, right? Those kind of things are only needed in the accounting department or any HR department. Those kind of things like official work, where official work is going on, like they need to print something, they need to do something, so they need that, those kind of materials. So directly if they have some requirement, they will ask, like they will send you a purchase requisition, they will send you a requirement list. As per that requirement, you have to give the purchase order, you have to provide the purchase order. So once the material has received, you have to directly issue it to the department that which they required, means material is required in which department. Directly the material will go there, it will not go into the storage location. So at the time of GR, the material and value, both of the things, like we will not update in the storage location, but that will be charged to the department directly. Okay, so understood these two process or any doubt? When we will be going into SAP, when we will be going deeper into the process flow, then we will be looking into it in the detailed view. But right now you need to understand what are different kinds of processes are there. Okay. So for that only we are explaining this one. So next one is pipeline procurement. So basically what happens, some materials that you don't procure it, like you don't buy or you don't provide a purchase requisition or you don't provide a purchase order to that. So pipeline material is, let's say for an example, you are using water, right? At your household, you are using water, you are using electricity, you are using broadband, you are using, let's say, gas connection, you are using all those things, right? So whenever, like if it is a gas connection, then whenever you need the gas, the gas material is the gas, like PNG gas, right? Or the material is water. So whenever you need, you just open your tap, okay, so you can consume the water. So at the time of, let's say, as per your government or as per your provider, so they will have a certain requirement that each month you have to pay some bill for gas, each month you have to pay some bill for your, let's say, water, each month you have to pay some bill for your broadband, or each month you need to pay some bill for your, let's say, electricity. So as per your consumption you have to pay them the bill. But normally what happen, you will not have to, like, every time you will not have to go there and you have to purchase or you have to provide a purchase order, whatever you need. So directly your supplier will supply the material or terms of service, whatever things are there, they will directly provide it to your, let's say, to your campus or your premises. So directly you don't have to, like, every month you don't have to provide any purchase order or purchase requisition, anything you don't have to create. Directly whenever you need the product, directly you will consume it. As per the consumption you have to, like, pay the amount whatever consumption you have done the specific period of time. Let's say your vendor is asking to pay you on a monthly basis or on a, let's say, weekly basis, you have to pay them at that point of time. But in the initial period of time you don't have to pay anything unless you are using something. Okay, so this is the pipeline procurement. Understood this one? I believe it's okay, right? So let's move on to next one. So next one is a consignment process. What is a consignment process? So basically, in some cases, like, let's say in your shipbuilding cases, okay, let's take an example of shipbuilding. Okay, so in shipbuilding you don't have to go each and every place to collect your material, or vendor will send your material as per your requirement. No, that will not happen. So what happens, your vendor, who, whatever material you need, the materials will be available at your, let's say, convenient place. Okay, there you have to, like, whatever you think, whatever things are needed, you directly consume it from there, and whatever things you have consumed, as per that you have to pay them a bill. So let's take another example. Uh, let's take an example of any kind of, let's say, departmental store. Okay, let's say DMart is there, or any kind of Walmart is there. Okay, so Walmart is having different kind of product. Okay, let's say one new company has come to the market, and they come to the Walmart or they come to the DMart, and they are saying, so okay, we are a new company, so right now we will be placing some products in your warehouse, okay, or in your departmental store. We will be placing some product. When the product will be sold or when the product will be consumed, after that we can, means you can pay a bill to us, right? So this is called the consignment process. So in consignment process, vendor will place the material in your warehouse or in your storage location. Right away you don't have to pay anything to the vendor. When you need some product from that consignment stock, you need to consume it from there, and you need to pay the vendor as per your consumption. Okay, so this is consignment procurement. So basically pipeline and consignment procurement are a similar kind of things, like similar kind of process. But pipeline procurement normally we use for any kind of like liquid or gas items, what is like flows through a pipeline. That's why we call it a pipeline procurement. And consignment procurement, normally for the stock purpose we are using the consignment, like which quantity, which materials are not like gaseous or gas materials, or any liquid materials, those kind of material we can use it as a consignment procurement. Okay, so the next one is subcontracting procurement. So what is a subcontracting procurement? So normally what happens, sometimes you see there are a lot of companies, like let's take an example, if we take an example of any company motor company means any automobile company, right? So one, to manufacture one automobile component, let's say to manufacture a car, okay, you will need different types of product. Let's say you will be needing some headlamps, let's say you will be needing some seats, you will be needing some let's say some outer body part, you will be needing some engine component, you will be needing some tire and tubes, right? So there will be different components will be there. So what happen, sometimes some company they don't manufacture or they don't produce all of these items. As you can see in a car, if you are going to look inside a car, you can see the battery which is fitted to the automobile, it is procured from a different company, right? And similarly, whenever you are seeing the headlamps are manufactured or headlamps are procured from a different company. So in that process what happens, normally what happens, like if a Tata car needs some items or materials, right? So they will have a place a bid or they will get a contractor, like if we take an example, let's say Exide is an vendor or supplier for battery, okay? So let's say for Tata manufacturing, they need some batteries or they need some battery to be manufactured. So this is a hypothetical condition, okay? I'm just explaining you the process, okay? So this might be like from the procurement point of view, there might be different things are procured in the subcontracting procurement, but as an example I'm explaining this to you. So let's say the battery is a part of a automobile, okay, and it is not getting manufactured by the automobile company, but it is getting manufactured by some other company. So what will happen, this automotive company, they will provide the raw material to the battery manufacturing company, okay? So they will be providing the raw material to the battery manufacturing company. They will produce or they will manufacture the battery and they will supply the battery back to the motor manufacturing company. Okay. And they will like there will be some charges will be there. So that charge needs to be paid by the, let's say by the main company or motor company, it needs to be paid to the subcontractor. So this is basically a subcontracting process, okay? So in subcontracting process what happens, so due to, let's say we are not having that much of labor or we are not having that much of space of our manufacturing unit, so in that case we subcontract some of the materials. So normally what happens, semi finished material or let's say some finished material or something, we can procure it from our subcontractor, okay? In that case we have to provide them the raw material and we have to take the finished material or semi finished material from our vendor, right? Okay, so this is the subcontracting procurement. Next one is import procurement. So what is the import procurement? Let's say our company is in one country and our supplier is in another country, okay? In that case we call it a import procurement. Let's say India will like they will import some let's say coal material from Australia or from, let's say South Africa or from, let's say Russia. They are importing some coal material or they are importing some gas material or petroleum material, they are importing from other countries. So in that case it will be coming under a import procurement when the company and the supplier, they both are in different countries. So in that case it will be coming under a import procurement, okay? So next one is third party procurement. So what is a third party procurement? Normally what happens, sometimes you can see like you are giving one order to any, let's say Amazon or to any, let's say any online platform, you are providing the order, okay? But normally what happens, like Amazon is not having the product, okay? They don't manufacture the product or they don't store the product. What they will do, they will simply forward your order to the respective party. Let's say you have ordered for an iPhone in Amazon. Okay, so Amazon, what will they do? They will not store the product, or they don't have any warehouses, they don't have anything. So what they will do, they will just forward your order to the warehouses, or to the manufacturing unit, or to the retail unit, whoever having that, let's say iPhone, who is having that iPhone, they will just forward to them the order. Okay, so now what will happen, this vendor, they will send the material direct to you, to the customer, right? So there will be no interference of Amazon inside it. So let's say that logistic part is a different part. But what happens normally, the supplier who is having the material, or who is having the component, they will supply the material direct to the customer, not to the ordering party. They will supply the material direct to the customer. Okay, so that's why this process is called as a third party process. Okay, so here we are giving order to someone, but they are not providing us the item, but some other company or some other vendor, they are supplying the material. Okay, so in this case, this will be called as a third party procurement. Okay,
सर इसको हम लोग वो भी कहते हैं ना, क्या कहते हैं उसको, ड्रॉप शिपिंग का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है,
हाँ वो हो सकता, मतलब वो हो सकता है
थर्ड
कॉन्सेप्ट
पार्टी।
जो, हाँ वो हो सकता है। नॉर्मली हम इसको एसएपी के अंदर, हमको जो बिजनेस प्रोसेस है उसको हम बोलते हैं यहाँ पे थर्ड पार्टी प्रोक्योरमेंट। ठीक है, तो ये बेसिकली ये जो
वेरी
कॉन्सेप्ट
फाइन।
है। ओके,
ठीक है, समझ आ गया।
ओके। So next one is outline agreement. So as the name suggests, agreement. So normally what happens, let's say we will be having, or we will be procuring some material for a longer period of time. Okay, for a single vendor, we will be procuring the material for a longer period of time. Okay, so in that case, what will happen? We will make a contract, or we will make an scheduling agreement. So this basically what we will do, we will do an agreement with that vendor, that we need this much of quantity in this much of time. Let's say for 1 year we are consuming 1,000 of material we need to consume. So price will be fixed. Okay, or price will be variable as per your agreement. So you can say normally why we do this contract, basically to fix the price. Okay, so let's say for 1 year you don't have to, like, whatever the price will be in the, let's say, market, the price will not change accordingly. Like, you will provide a agreement to the vendor, and as per the agreement they will send you the materials. So in outline agreement there are two types of outline agreement. One is contract, second one is scheduling agreement. Okay, so we will be looking into the deeper details once we are going to directly going to the business process and explanation and process flow. In that time we will be looking into it. Right now we are just understanding the business process. Okay, so next is outline agreement. Basically this outline agreement will be divided into two group. One is contract and one is scheduling agreement. Okay, so next one is stock transfer order. So what will happen in stock transfer order? Let's say there will be two companies, or one company is having two plants. Okay, and one plant is manufacturing some material, and that material is needed in another plant. Okay, let's say, let's take an example. Let's say Tata Steel is manufacturing the steel, and Tata Motors is manufacturing the motors. Okay, so Tata Motors is manufacturing some kind of automobiles. So to manufacture the automobile parts or the outer body, they will need the steel seat. Okay, and the steel seats are manufactured in the Tata Steel company. Okay, so here both the Tatas are coming under one single entity, that is Tata Group, right? So in that case, what will happen? We just need to move the stock from one location to another location, right? So in that case, that will be called as a stock transfer order. So whenever we are transferring the stock from one location to another location, that will be called as a stock transfer order. Okay, so next one is external service procurement. So what is the external service procurement? Normally, whenever we procure some service from the outside of the company, that is called a external service procurement. As like, like you might be knowing, like whenever you are installing one AC, like any AC you are installing at your home, so regularly or periodically you need to do the service or maintenance you have to do for that AC, right? The repair and all the things you need to repair it from the company, like whatever company, LG, Samsung, or anyone you have hired, like in any kind of company you have taken the AC. So you have to like procure, or you have to buy the service from the company, like the regular servicing or the maintenance you have to buy from the company. So in that case it will be called as a external service procurement. Like your this is one example only for the household product. Let's say you have different household products also, and in let's say in a company also, they will be having different kind of machinery, they will be having different kind of, let's say, computers, they will having some, let's say, ACs or different kind of things will be there. So for those kind of service, for those materials or those items, they need to procure some service from the external vendors. So that is called a external service procurement. So basically in SAP business process, these are the major process that we use, or this is known in a, let's say, in a broader picture, or in a broader places, or everywhere. Maybe you will be having these kind of 4 or 5 business process you will be going to interact with that, or you are going to dealing with that. So basically the stock purpose, and this pipeline, consignment, subcontracting, and third party, and outline procurement, stock transfer, these kind of things normally you will be seeing in the, so whenever you are going to work in a company, there you will be going to see all of this process. Apart from this one, apart from these business process, there are different other business process also. So let's say for that, some asset or capital goods procurement will be there. So basically what is a asset or capital goods? Normally whenever you are procuring some machinery kind of thing for your plant, that is called a capital good or asset. Then there will be some returnable transport packaging material. So that is a different kind of material which we procure. Let's say, let's take an example. So likewise, if you are using the gas cylinder in your household, right, there will be some like the LPG gases are there, right? LPG gas cylinders are there. So whenever you buy the gas, you don't buy the cylinder, right? You only buy, or you only purchase the gas, or you are paying the price for only the gas. You are not paying the price for the cylinder, right? So whenever you have consumed the gas from the cylinder, then you have to return that material back to the vendor. Then they will provide you a next, let's say, your gas, they will provide you a next cylinder, but you have to return the empty cylinder to them, right? So in this case, these kind of materials are called returnable transport packaging, because these materials cannot be sold individually, or they cannot be sent or used individually. So to use them or to consume them, definitely we will be needing some packaging material. So whenever we consume the material, we need to return the packaging material back to the vendor. Okay, so this is basically the concept of returnable transport packaging. Next comes to non-stock material. So basically non-stock material means whenever there will be some let's say some materials are not meant for stock purpose, there is only one time purpose you are procuring some material, so those kind of materials are called non-stock material. Next is non-valuated material. So let's say there are some materials which are like having very much less value. Okay, so in that case we don't use it as a value update, so it will be coming as a, let's say, what is called, I'm forgetting the term right now. So basically in some procurement, like the material value is very less, so we don't update the material value in that. So those kind of materials are called non-valued material. Okay, so next one is blanket purchasing. Next one is rebate agreement. So these are kind of, so these are kind of other business processes. Okay, whatever we are using. So but basically we will be discussing on this. So basically we will be discussing on these 10 business process on a broader view, means in the details, in details we will be looking into these kind of let's say procurement processes. Okay, because these are the important ones which you are going to get in the interview questions also, and you need to be sure about the business process, how the business is flowing, how the procurement is happening, what is the process flow, that you need to know about these most important 10 business process. So we will be covering this one if needed, we will be going to the next business process or next procurement process, will be going into it, but basically we will be discussing on this. So
सर एक क्वेश्चन
yes.
है, इनके अलावा भी मटेरियल मैनेजमेंट के इस मॉड्यूल में
Mhm.
बिजनेसेस प्रोसेसेस होंगे या खाली आप बता रहे हैं कि ये ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है?
यस, ये ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है। ये जो 10 प्रोसेस है, पहले के 10 प्रोसेस है, ये मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट है, और ये जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना कि कॉमनली यूज्ड है। ठीक है, तो ये कॉमनली
ठीक है।
यूज्ड प्रोसेस है, आपको हर कहीं पे मिल जाएगा नॉर्मली। जैसे कि दूसरा अगर चीज हम देखें यहाँ पे, जैसे हमने कैपिटल और एसेट प्रोक्योरमेंट के बारे में पढ़ा, तो सभी जगह पे हो सकता है कि आप ट्रेडिंग कंपनी में आप काम कर रहे हो, वहां पे कैपिटल गुड्स प्रोक्योरमेंट नहीं होता है, वहां पे मशीनरी की जरूरत नहीं होती है। सिमिलरली आपको
हम्म।
अगर आप कहीं पे सपोज ये जो गैस मटेरियल यूज नहीं कर रहे हैं या फिर कोई लिक्विड मटेरियल यूज नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो ये आरटीपी वाला सिनेरियो भी आपके पास नहीं होता है। ठीक है,
ओके
तो
ओके 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 ओके,
ओके
अब समझ आई बात की।
okay, so similarly these are not like much important part, but basically these first 10 processes, these are most important process and these are common process. Okay, so basically for that only you need to understand these on a better perspective, and rest will definitely or normally you don't get much questions on the RTP material unless there is a requirement from the client side. Okay, if you are going
हम्म।
to in an interview, let's say you are going for an interview with an gas company or with an oil company, in that case you might be having like they will be asking you what is a RTP material, how we can consume a RTP material, how we can procure a RTP material. In that case they will ask you, but in a broader way you will not get any questions on the like capital asset procurement or RTP material or rebate agreement. They will be not asking you questions on that. They will be mostly asking you about what is the stock procurement process, what is the subcontracting procurement, what is the consignment procurement. They will be definitely asking you questions about the business process. Okay, so that's why we are considering these 10 process only. Okay.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
Okay. Okay, so I believe everyone understood what is the process, like business process, right? Or anyone having any questions? Any question you can ask, because there is only 6 minutes left for this session. We will be ending this session and we will be starting a new session again. Okay, so if anyone having any question, you can ask now. Then in the next session, we will be starting with the P2P cycle.